Hi everyone, my name is Susanna and this is my first YouTube video. I'm glad that my first video is on making chocolate because I don't think there's anything more apt than this. So let's get started. So step 1 is to find a partner. While the chocolate making process is quite rewarding, it is very tiring as well. My mom helped me out and it took us more than 12 hours to complete this process from start to finish. And we took this picture at around 1 a.m. while we were still waiting for the chocolate bar to set, and we were so exhausted. So step 1 is very important. Find a partner because you'll definitely need their help. Step 2 is to source your cacao beans. The ones I used for this batch were from Amazon, and I will leave a link to it in the description. The reason I chose this brand is because when I was going through the comments, one of the users had commented that they had used these cacao beans to make chocolate, and that seemed like a good enough reason to try these out. When you buy the cacao beans, make sure they are dried and fermented and not pre-roasted so that you can have more control on the temperature and duration for when you do roast the raw cacao beans. Step 3 is to roast the cacao beans. I used around 900 grams of beans for this, and I put them on a baking tray that I'd lined with parchment paper or butter paper. It's very important to make sure that the beans are leveled so that they roast evenly in the oven. I roasted the beans at the lowest temperature of my oven, which was about 100 degrees Celsius, for about 15 to 20 minutes or until our home smelled like chocolate. I did this in batches so that I could get through all my cacao beans, and you can also dry roast the beans on a pan, but the chances of burning the beans is very high, so I would keep a close eye on it. The reason I know this is because we did burn some beans, but like I said, this process is very forgiving, so it's okay if you over roast the beans. You can still continue on and still get a good chocolate bar. One of the ways you can check if the beans are roasted is by picking up a bean and gently rubbing it between your fingers, and if the husk comes away easily, you know that the beans have roasted well. So in step 4, we separate the outer layer of the bean from the inner nib, and this process is called cracking and winnowing, and like the name suggests, we crack open the cocoa bean and separate the outer shell or the husk from the inner cocoa nib. When you taste the cocoa nib, you can taste the very distinguishing flavor of chocolate, and I also tasted some orange, and tasting an extra flavor is what growers say is quite common, because if the tree is grown alongside another fruit, nut or spice, the cacao fruit most likely is going to get the flavor of that tree or plant. But my parents could not taste the orange flavor, but I like to think I tasted a hint of orange in this batch of cacao beans. So my mother and I did this by hand, so we cracked open every single bean, and this is where we spent the most amount of time. When you do this process, don't throw away the husk. You can actually use it to brew tea, and it's very delicious as well. It actually tastes like chocolate tea. And by the end of it, we were able to get around 600 grams of cocoa nibs from the 900 grams of beans that we had initially started out with. In step 5, we grind the nibs into a paste, and we do this by putting it in a blender or like a mixie and blitzing it until we have a smooth paste that's almost liquid. You'll notice that the beans first turn into a consistency of like a brownie batter, so it's quite thick, and you know that the cocoa butter is now being released. And after a couple of minutes of blitzing, you'll find that the nibs have now almost become liquid. This mixture is quite grainy at this stage, and that's alright, because in the next step is when we'll smoothen out this mixture into the smooth chocolate that we usually see. In step 6, the mixture is put through a process called conching, where stone rollers are used to smoothen out the mixture into a paste. For this, I use the grinder that my mom uses to make idli and dosa batter. A pro tip from my mom is to put in some of the mixture in the grinder before you turn it on, so that there's a lesser chance of causing damage to the stone rollers. So we put the cocoa mixture in the grinder, and according to my research, some chocolate makers grind this for about 4 days, but we obviously could not do that. So we left the mixture in the grinder for around 3 hours, and that's when it became a smooth paste. It was during this time that I added some sugar to sweeten the chocolate, because this was my first time. I didn't want to add a lot of sugar and mask the flavor. So I added around 100 to 120 grams of sugar, and you can also test here and add more sugar if you want your chocolate to be quite sweet. So once the chocolate is smooth enough, we can remove it from the grinder, and I put the chocolate through a sieve so that we could remove any of the cocoa husk that may have gotten through. And this is where I was really excited, because I finally figured that we had made chocolate, and that was quite an exciting moment. I think step 8 is the most complex in this process, and that's the tempering of chocolate. I did this in about 3 stages. In the first stage, I used a double boiler to bring the temperature of the chocolate to somewhere between 45 degrees to 50 degrees Celsius. And after that, I used an ice bath to cool the temperature down to around 26 to 27 degrees Celsius. And I used a candy thermometer to monitor the temperature. After this, the third stage is to bring the temperature back up to about 30 to 31 degrees Celsius. In this process, I did not get the temperatures right, and you can see that in my last step, the chocolate had hardened quite a bit because I think I left it too long on the ice bath. But ultimately, the chocolate still set at room temperature and it held its shape. So I'm assuming that if you get most of it right or near the right temperature, it should be okay. And once the chocolate is tempered, it's ready to be poured into molds. And because I wanted to do the bean to bar, I ordered like a chocolate, the silicone mold for a bar, and we poured our chocolate into the bar mold and eventually hoped that it would set and make like a good bar of dark chocolate. The chocolate eventually set after 30 minutes, but we left it overnight just to be sure. And in the morning, we had a good bar of chocolate. It had set completely, but it tasted quite good, and it was bitter, but you could actually taste the chocolate, and it was not very sweet. The best part of this was that I used the chocolate that I tempered to make some brownies and some caramel-filled chocolate truffles as well. So I was really happy with how these turned out. So this was the process that we followed to make our chocolate bar from the beans. Let me know what you think of this video, and you can also leave any questions you may have in the comment section, and I will try and answer them. Please remember that I don't have all the answers because this is my first time as well, but I'll be glad to help in any way that I can. So thanks for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.